Yay! Blind you all. Don't you just love a bit of sunshine? I'm filming it because once I move we might never see it again in the grow room. I've double checked with the map, and basically the grow room faces just off north, slightly over towards northeast, which means in the summertime, providing there's no huge trees in the way, which I've got a feeling there is, there could be some morning sun, which will be a pleasure. As far as the setting, you have to bear in mind, you know, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Well, in the summer, no, it doesn't. You can add quite a few more degrees to those angles, and it basically rises farther towards the north than the east, if you see what I mean. And likewise, it doesn't set in the west, it sets between the west and the north. Obviously, sun is higher in the sky. Now, it's remotely possible that, depending on the height of the building and how far out the grow room sticks from the building, in the middle of the summer, for that sort of 6, 7, possibly 8-week period when the sun is at its highest, it might just creep over the roof of the house and touch the edge of the grow space, which would give me a little bit of heat. Not enough to panic. Somebody's already said, you know, how are you going to get the heat out? You haven't got your extractor fan. No, but I've got a set of double doors and a window that actually work and open. So if I get excess heat, which I don't believe I will, then I can let it out. And with a circulating fan on the inside, correctly positioned, it will blast that hot air straight out the doors, if necessary. Hopefully not. But what I did think is that when you come round to the setting sun, which in that midsummer period is much warmer than the morning sun, it just produces more heat. I won't get that because the two buildings alongside each other, the one that's next door to me sticks out towards the north, so it would shelter the grow room from any northwest based sunshine, so I'm not going to get that. However, the garden might benefit from it, my bonsai might benefit from it. Yeah, so just sort of thinking forward, sunshine will be a rarity in the new grow room, and that will save me an awful lot of money, because I spend more money trying to keep it cool in the summer than I do trying to keep it warm in the winter. First of all, the summer period when the heat is, you know, not conducive to growing, it is sort of 7 to 8 months long, whereas the heating period is only like 4, maybe 5 at the most. I mean, I've only just started, I haven't started heating during the day yet. I mean, I still get temperatures of 20, 21 degrees during the day without heat, but my nighttime heat comes on every night now. Oops. So it's cooled down enough that that's happening. And yeah, I'm half looking forward to this move and half frightened to death of it. Because I haven't moved for so long, and the last time I moved I was a lot younger and I could throw stuff around and hump stuff upstairs and etc. But hopefully I will have helping hands to help with stuff. So anyway, plans are carrying on. I've just poured a glass of wine in the middle of the afternoon. It's not even 3:30 yet, and do you know why? Because I've just taken the inheritance tax forms with all their attachments, copy of the will, everything that needed to go in the envelope to the post office, and paid for it, recorded delivery, to be sent off. That's it. It's done. I think there's a couple of people with hairy feet sat on the side of the mountain saying the eagles are coming. It's done. Yeah, so I am relieved, I think is the word. I can't think of another term that sort of fits, quite honestly. That's it. Relieved to get rid of that. It's taken me on and off a month to get that done. I mean, first of all, you've got to find out what you've got to do. Then you've got to start doing it, and then you find problems, and then you realise you haven't got half the information you need, so you have to start gathering that. That involves contacting companies, you know, getting confirmations, verifying who you are, spending an hour at a time waiting on the phone for somebody to answer it at the other end. You know, so, you know, it's taken up an awful lot of my time. But like my sister said, the one that lives around the corner, she said, thank you very much, because you've just saved us a couple of £1,000, which is what the solicitor would have cost. Yeah, so I'm pleased that I was able to do that, because not everybody would have been able to do that. It didn't need a lot of computer skills after all. You know, the forms, all you got to do is find the forms on the government website and download them, and then open them up and start filling in the boxes. It's not rocket science. It's getting the information in the right place and making it all balance. That's the more difficult bit. Anyway, it's done. It's gone. Big relief. Really big relief. I've got one more document to deal with, which is the actual application for probate, which is like an application to the courts. But I have to wait 3 to 4 weeks for my inheritance tax forms to be processed with the form in there that says I am applying for probate, which they then stamp, you know, with Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs seal on that document, and send it to the courts. So that tells the courts that they have the inheritance tax forms, and my application for probate should not arrive before they get that. If you see what I mean. Otherwise it's on its own, and it hasn't got the backup of the revenue, who've got all the rest of the forms. So it's a sequence, and if you add 3 to 4 weeks onto today's date, you don't half get near Christmas. And at Christmas, staff start falling by the wayside in this country. People start taking days off to go shopping, and people start using some annual leave to go and see family and stuff like that. And government bodies start getting thin on the ground. So it's going to take time. So be it. So be it. I don't care anymore. I don't care how long it takes, because the process has started. So I've still got that one, and that's an online form. So that's a direct, you know, you don't have to download it, fill it in and use Postman Pat. You just fill it in online and submit it. And I've done half of it already. I'm just waiting for the final bit, which has to wait for this 3 or 4 weeks from the point they get the inheritance tax, because they take so flipping long to process it. God, it's like living in a third world country, living in the UK nowadays, the amount of time stuff takes to get done. It's ridiculous. There was a time when we could be proud of our services. I think now we hang our head in shame, given the type of country we are. You know, I don't know. I give up. I only get involved when I absolutely have to, and that's as infrequently as I can possibly keep it. So that's that. The only other document I've got that's outstanding at the moment, because it needs all 4 signatures, which my sister has at the moment, because she gets to the other 2 easier than I can. So that will come back when it's got their 3 signatures on, and then I can add mine, and then that document goes in the post. And that's to process some of Mum's affairs, basically, and that can be processed without probate, because it's a lowish value, well, lower than their limit, shall we say. So that gets that done, and then the only thing left outstanding will be waiting for probate, and I reckon 3 months, easy 3 months before we get probate, at which point we can sell the house and cash in Mum's shares. They won't deal, the shares will not deal with you unless you've got probate after somebody's passed away. So those are the 3 outstanding items, the 2 lots of shares, and getting the house sold, which My sisters reckon that we should get it on the market reasonably soon now. Get it working. Get it in people's head that this property is available, albeit not for 3 months. Oh, but conveyancing takes so long that if somebody wants it that bad, they will start the conveyancing process, informing their solicitor that we can't exchange contracts till probate is granted. So it's a probate sale. And according to the estate agents, these happen all the time. So it's not a big deal. It's not as rare as some people might think. Yeah, so, yeah. Orchid stuff. Spikes everywhere. I've watered all my pots today, so everything in a pot got watered. And some things got watered when they were still a little bit damp, but I just needed it done because tomorrow I've got an Orchid Society meeting, and prior to the meeting is a committee meeting. So it's a relatively long day. You know, we start at 12 and I won't get away till sort of 4:30, 4:45, and then I've got to drive home. So it's quite a long day. So I don't want to be doing watering, but I do have to water my mounts tomorrow. But they don't take long, and I haven't got to set off till sort of gone 11. So I've got time in the morning to do my mounts. And then I won't need to worry about watering anything out here for some considerable time, because it really has slowed up. Anyway, spikes. I found some more this morning. My Tahitian dancer has got a spike on it, which crept up on me. What else did I find? There was another one of the Oncidium types. It's only going to be Oncidium types this time of year. Or Cattleyas, I suppose, but most of those are... Well, I won't say most of them. There are some of them in a sorry state, that are in a state of recovery, and they will take time. And even if they tried to bloom, they would get stopped. So there's not a lot going on in that arena. And a lot of Dendrobiums basically are, you know, early spring into spring, early summer bloomers. They don't bloom this time of year. I mean, I must admit, I haven't noticed this before, but all of my Phalaenopsis type are either in bloom or in bud. Now, I hadn't noticed that. Mind you, I haven't had this many for a while. I mean, this was bought in bloom, so can't count that. That came from Burnham's last time I went. The Thai Angel is just going over, but that's in bloom. The Thailand Black is in bud. And the other one, where is it? Right up there, against the glass. Those are my 4 Phalaenopsis type Dendrobiums, and they're either in bud or in bloom. So, you know, if I didn't know better, I could stick my neck out if I did that sort of thing and say, oh, Dendrobium Phalaenopsis types always bloom in late autumn into the winter. But I know that's wrong, because they don't. It's pure coincidence that all 4 of mine are doing it now. It's just a coincidence. They can come into bloom any flipping time, quite honestly. I'll get this down because we've been looking at it for long enough, and it's finally opened. The Zygo. The Zygo I don't like. The Zygo I bought because I wanted to prove the point that I can actually keep, repot and rebloom Zygos. And this was the one. Came from Burnham's, and when I got it home, I admitted that I wasn't that keen on these blooms. And I'm still not keen on them, so nothing's changed. But this only just opened today, so it's not fully... there's a word for it where things curl backwards, but it hasn't done it yet, so I don't need the word, do I? But gorgeous coloured lip, typical Zygo type colour on the lip. That is absolutely smashing. But the rest of the colours, to me, are just wishy-washy. It looks like the back of the bud. You know when a bloom opens and the bright colours are inside the bloom, and if you look at it from the other side, it's like pastel versions of the colours. You know, like sort of watercolour versions compared with the bright sort of colours on the other side. And that's what this one looks like to me. So still not my favourite bloom. But, you know, again, we managed to get the thing repotted. We managed to push up a new growth. And it pushed out 2 spikes despite, I mean, this is a far from mature growth yet, but that's what Zygos do. They chuck the spikes out when the new growths are not very big. And then after the blooms are gone, the growth carries on. And once it gets somewhere near maturity, it chucks another new growth out. And so it continues. But yes, another one of the zygos has pushed up a new growth and bloomed. So we're getting there with the zygos now. I don't fear them anymore. If I see another one that's really attractive, that's not like any of the ones I've already got, I will gladly buy it, on the grounds that I'm pretty confident it's going to live. Whereas there was a time when I thought, oh, here we go, we'll buy another one, give it 3 or 4 months, it'll be dead. And it was. Anyway, just a sort of an update. This is there purely because I believe that getting rid of that inheritance tax and being able to put all that paperwork to one side for that amount of time before we need to dig it all out again was worth an early glass of wine. Because, I mean, it's not tea time yet. As I say, it's only just 3:30. It's another hour and a half before we do tea time. But I just thought, right, I'm going to treat myself. I've worked hard to get this lot done and have had no help at all, you know. So, which is exactly what I was expecting, to get no help at all. But it was, you know, given that my sister that lives around the corner did virtually everything to do with the funeral. You know, she let people know. She went to see the funeral people, organised what we wanted. I mean, I was there at that meeting, but I didn't contribute much. I was there really to watch what my 2 sisters were up to, because they can get into like a spending frenzy where every now and again somebody needs to say, have you seen how much that is? Do we really need that? Just to rein them in a little bit. Nonetheless, the funeral did cost quite a lot of money. But it comes out of mum's money. She put that money aside because she wanted a send-off. She didn't want to fade away quietly. She wanted a send-off with her friends and family there. Now that's what she got. We did a good job. Well, my sister did a good job. My other sister made suggestions but didn't really do anything. And my brother did absolutely nothing, which was expected. He's not that sort of person. He goes about his own business, keeps himself to himself, does his job, and, you know, comes home. He's a carer for his other half, which is hard work. If anybody who's a carer out there, you know it's hard work, you know. So we weren't expecting a big contribution from him. And, you know, organising a funeral and letting people know, I wouldn't have known who to let know. Whereas my sister does. So she did a good job there. And I said, well, I'll do the inheritance tax stuff because my other sister works and wouldn't have the time. My brother wouldn't have a clue. And my other sister, she bottled out right at the beginning. It was very good what she said, and it was honest. That's what I like. It was honest. We were talking about inheritance tax, and after about 20 seconds she said, excuse me, you're using words I don't understand, so I'm not having anything to do with this. So that was her out. And with the other one working and the other one not having a clue, that left me, didn't it? So I got volunteered. And I am incredibly relieved that it's done. If I ever have to do that again, which I doubt, I would at least have a good clue how to do it, because I've done it once. But it's more likely somebody's going to have to be doing it for me before I ever get to do it for somebody else. So anyway, this is one of these chatty things that it was a spur of the moment. I thought, well, we'll have a quick look at the zygo, because we've been waiting for it to open for long enough. And, you know, just the relief of getting that inheritance tax out of the way. It is a big deal. And it's a big deal done and dusted. So unless they've got any queries, which I don't think they will have, I've double and treble checked absolutely everything. All the values and figures that are in there have got evidence to back them up, you know. I don't think there's anything missing, and everything balances. It all hangs together nicely. And what I like more than anything is the last box on the form has got 0 in it. Tax to pay, 0. Which is what I knew all along, but you still got to prove it. So it's done. And I don't know whether there'll be a video tomorrow. This is my first Wessex Orchid Society meeting as treasurer, actual face-to-face meeting. So I've got some jobs to do, but I would like to think by taking the camera along I can whiz along the plants that have been brought in. I mean, they have the competitive tables plus the display. Now there might only be half a dozen plants, there might only be half a dozen people for all I know. But if I take the camera, I might be able to film some orchids, you know, and then I can put that together when I get home. And then, yeah, and then it'll have come round quick again, but then it's Sunday. So be it. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.